Okay, Maggie, look. Let me break it down to you how it's gonna happen. They're gonna come through that door and be good cop, bad cop. Don't fall for that, all right?
She did it! She did it! She's the one you want!
In Hollywood, everything important in an interrogation is seen or heard. The cop's grimace, the loud yelling, treating a suspect hostile, the light that's way too bright. But in a real interrogation, it's flipped around. Everything important is unseen, unheard. On the surface, real interrogations look boring. The cop is nice to you, they give you a drink, they dress in plain clothes. It's almost disarming, especially if this is more of what you were expecting.
The names, now!
But that's the point. Under the boring, disarming surface of an interrogation, you find a whole host of psychological traps and mental tricks that are designed to make you confess. It starts from the moment you walk in. Every inch of an interrogation room has been designed to make you feel isolated and powerless. The room is small, cramped, the walls are blank, and there are no windows. You'll be placed in an uncomfortable, straight back, often metal chair, while the cop's chair will be able to roll. This becomes important later on. The next move is a hurdle that cops have to get over. When you go to jail, a cop is legally required to tell you you have the right to shut up. This actually turns out to be the only great advice you're gonna get. Talking to cops is always a bad move. And for the cop, what this means is that their first priority is making you ignore this advice and go against everything you've ever heard. They have to convince you to play the game with them. The first questions are deliberately not about the investigation. They want to appear trustworthy so that you'll talk to them about the case.
Where do you work at?
Mama's Cafe, downtown.
I don't think I've tried that one yet.
It's good food.
I'm a big coffee guy. I don't know if you're a coffee guy or
I am
not,
a
but I
coffee
didn't
guy,
want to drink
actually,
in front of you, so.
No, I appreciate that.
All right, go ahead.
There's a plain donut there for you. I had a cereal bar, but if you get hungry or anything else, just let me know, okay? How come you got more than one middle name, do you know?
I don't know. It's my uncles and my grandfather.
I got 3 middle names as well. And that's because my parents thought I was going to be an only child, so they named me after everybody. So I got named after a grandfather and 2 uncles. So I know what you're going through there, because my initials I get teased about.
The other goal behind these innocent questions is to establish a behavioral baseline. They want to see how you act when you're telling the truth. Finally, when they're ready, they'll ask you something like this.
Well, let's do this. You sound like you want to talk to me, okay? And I want to hear what you have to say, but before I ask you any questions, you got to know your rights, okay? You have the right to remain silent. What this says here is that I've read you your rights. Do you understand them? Yes.
Once you're talking, they'll first get a statement about what happened. After hearing it, if the cop thinks you might have done it, if the facts aren't lining up, or if you're acting shady, they may move to the accusation phase. In the accusation phase, they will confidently accuse you of the crime. The cop will say in no uncertain terms, you did it, we know you did it, and we've got evidence for it.
Your vehicle drove up the side of Jessica Lloyd's house. Your boots walked to the back of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January. You and I both know you were at Jessica Lloyd's house, and I need to know why.
But here's the catch. They'll claim they have evidence for your guilt, even when they don't.
This nosy neighbor, or whatever we're going to call him, has monitored, and I'm not going to tell you how. Okay, just think about it. With today's technology, monitored what was going on in front of this residence that they were calling to complain about until police arrived. I can prove it. I can go in front of the judge and say, hey, look, bro, you want us to play this video? You want us to show you the fingerprint results? You want us to show you the GRE test on this gentleman?
I did not have that firearm in my hand.
Huh?
The goal here is to make you think that you're already caught. They already have you. Why bother resisting and lying about it when they already know you did it? Just confess.
So it's one of the easiest investigations I've had. It's fucking there. And you can't lie about that, bro. You can't tell us that you didn't fucking fire that 4th shot anymore. You can't tell us. We can prove otherwise.
During this phase of the interrogation, the interrogator doesn't want you to deny the crime even though you'll want to. Vocalized denials reinforces your position. So cops make an interesting move. They try to not let you vocalize denials in the first place if possible. They'll often interrupt you or not stop talking to allow breaks to let you speak up. Instead, they'll keep the pressure on by reinforcing the idea that they 100% already have you caught.
I'm giving you an opportunity.
I'm not lying.
Listen to me. I'm giving you
I
an
didn't
opportunity.
hold that gun.
Listen
I
to
didn't
me.
shoot
Listen.
that gun.
Listen to me.
I did not have a firearm
we
in my
can prove
hand.
that. We can prove that. We're beyond that point, buddy. We're beyond that, man.
But I did not do what you think I did.
I know you did. We're past that. Okay?
No.
We're past that, Mike.
You know it, they know it, let's just drop the charade. The next phase is theme development. After accusing someone, the cops will try to provide themes to offer moral or psychological justifications for the crime. Nobody's going to confess if they think it makes them look bad or their dignity's at stake, so the cops want to give you a way to lose without losing face. This will never be used in your favor when the confession goes to trial, of course. These are simply mind games that are used to get the confession.
We sort of believe that it could have been a fucking accident. It could have been an accidental discharge. Okay, but when you don't, when you're completely denying that, then I gotta think another way, bro.
I don't believe you're a cold-blooded killer. No, I don't believe that at all. Nothing suggests that to me. I think you're a smart guy, and I think you got involved in a situation that you probably shouldn't have. There's a difference between you going in and saying, I'm gonna kill somebody, and you going in, I'm trying to help somebody, and then shit goes bad. That's way different things there that we're talking about.
What other option is there? I don't think you want the cold-blooded psychopath option. I might be wrong, because don't get me wrong, I've met guys who actually kind of enjoyed the notoriety, got off on it. I don't see that in you. If I saw that in you, I wouldn't be back in here talking to you, quite frankly. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you got me fooled. I don't know.
This is where most people start to break. Most people often go into a passive mood when they're about to confess, looking beat down and acting quiet. This is the first time that you'll seriously start considering confession. There's even a physical tell called the surrender position that cops look for to know when you're about to confess. It looks like this. When the cop sees this, he will continue to reiterate all the themes that have been developed so far. We know you did it, we have evidence, and good guys come clean. In addition to deploying psychological measures, the cops will also deploy physical ones. Remember that the cop's chair can roll, and during this time, he will often move closer in order to ramp up the tension in the room. You will feel trapped, like there's nowhere to go, and meanwhile, a physically intimidating cop is telling you that you have to confess. You must confess. Finally, there's a moment when the tension that has been building up for hours finally breaks. You can almost see it.
I want to minimize the impact on my wife.
So do I.
So how do we do that?
Well, we start by telling the truth.
Okay.
Okay. So where is she?
Get him out.
And once the cop gets their confession, it's all over. Your chance of being let off go to almost zero, your plea deals get a lot worse, and you have gained absolutely nothing from the exchange except for the knowledge of just how good cops are at beating you in the interrogation room.
Yeah, I just think I'd look guilty if I hired a lawyer.
No, actually, it's getting arrested that makes people look guilty, even the innocent ones. And innocent people get arrested every day. And they find themselves in a little room with a detective who acts like he's their best friend. Talk to me, he says. Help me clear this thing up. You don't need a lawyer, only guilty people need lawyers. And boom, hey, that's when it all goes south.
It's time to come clean. Are you following me on these platforms? We have communities on Reddit and Discord, and the bigger they grow, the more fun they are. Also, I share a more personal side of my life on Twitter and Instagram, so follow if you're into that kind of stuff. Finally, thank you to my patrons. Guys, if you're not a patron, please. It helps my life so much to be making a little bit of money from this channel. I don't need to make a lot, but every little bit counts so much. So thank you guys to everyone who is supporting me. Music producers are, as always, linked here and below, and I will see you guys next time. We got conviction of your conviction, man, it's simple addition. Evidence is with us, gonna put you in prison. So give us a sentence, talking about your contrition. It's just a simple admission that may help your condition. And that's the story of how they get you. Here's one final admonition: don't talk without a lawyer.